What's up, foodies? Welcome back to the channel. So you probably noticed I like to talk about food prices. If there is one thing that should get your attention when it comes to food and cost, probably the incredible edible egg. That's right. If you're someone who, like myself, likes to eat eggs for breakfast like half the week, you have noticed the prices of eggs have skyrocketed. Sometimes it feels like it's a roller coaster. They're up, they're down. What is this, a stock market? I mean, eggs, they were supposed to be this affordable, cheap protein. Sometimes when I'm buying a dozen eggs, feels like I'm buying a dozen little nuggets of gold instead of a bunch of things that came out of a chicken's what. So you're probably asking yourself, why are eggs so expensive? Well, I started to dig into it and I found a lot of interesting reasons for why we're in a place where eggs have become so expensive. So I decided to make this video to crack into the mystery of why eggs are so expensive. Yes, I did do the crack and the egg-spensive. That was a 2-for-1. Well, unlike my jokes, this is actually going to be useful information, and you just might have a better understanding of why eggs have become so expensive, and maybe you might have a better idea about how to plan ahead. Maybe save yourself a little bit of money so that 3-egg omelet doesn't feel like a 5-star breakfast. All right, before we get cracking, I want you to hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'll wait. Excellent. So, what's going on here? Why are eggs getting so expensive? More importantly, how expensive are we talking about? I've seen them at my grocery store go as high as $13. And these days, it's not unheard of to see a dozen eggs go anywhere from $5 to $10. What's going on with that? And what kind of variances? Well, here's the thing. I started to dig into it, and it's not because the chickens are getting lazier. It's because they're not showing up. They're calling in sick. That's right, my friends. We are going to talk about bird flu.
Consumer advocates say bird flu is to blame. 13 million cases in poultry in the last month, according to the USDA.
Yep, bird flu. Avian influenza, also known as H5N1. It's been taking a toll on poultry farms across the country. In fact, since 2022, 2 major waves of the bird flu forced farmers to cull over 100 million egg-laying hens out of production. That's a lot of chicken. Now, when you're taking that many hens out of the equation, that's going to affect the egg supply. Here's the kicker. The demand for eggs has not gone down. In fact, people are pretty bonkers for their eggs, including me. Let's break this down for a sec. When supply goes down, but demand stays high, well, that's what we call a nightmare on the old wallet. So that $10 for a dozen eggs, now you know why. There's less eggs on the shelf, demand is still high, prices go up. It's as simple as that. But here's the thing, it's not just about the bird flu either. Eggs are becoming more expensive because we're seeing an increased demand in alternative forms of protein. People are turning to eggs in lieu of chicken or beef, which have also risen in cost. And don't forget this, eggs are everywhere. They're not just on your plate, they're in baked goods, they're in sauces, they're even in some of those fancy protein shakes you get at the gym. So the demand is all around. But wait, it gets even juicier. Inflation has been wreaking havoc on the entire food industry. I mean, have you seen the prices of butter lately? Don't get me started on that. But eggs have taken the brunt of it. Why? Well, the truth is the supply chain is still recovering from the pandemic. Plus, you've got new factors like rising feed costs, labor shortages, even just the cost of energy it takes to run a farm. All of it creates a wicked domino effect, folks. It ain't just the grocery store either. Restaurants are feeling it too, like fast food. Oh, that breakfast burrito you want? Or maybe that bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich? Well, you're gonna have to cough up an extra buck for one of those things. And that's another reason why fast food prices are increasing as well. All right, so at this point, you're probably saying, Ali, we get it. Eggs are expensive. What do we do about it? Well, kind of not a whole lot, at least as far as eggs are concerned. The truth is, we gotta wait for the egg suppliers to rebuild the flock, and then the supply chain will eventually catch up. But there are a few moves we can do in the kitchen in the meantime. So, If you're feeling the pinch, here are a few ways you can cut back on the old eggs expense. First of all, consider buying in bulk. I was at the grocery store and I saw an 18-pack go for $7 and I said, we're pulling the trigger, because who knows how much a dozen's going to be next week. In fact, I would even consider signing up for a Costco membership or a Sam's Club. What you pay in a year may pay off dividends when it comes to eggs in 2025. Finally, I would consider egg substitutes for your recipes. There are some plant-based ingredients out there you can get by the carton that really aren't that bad. And I will tell you this, when it comes to baking, there are some recipe hacks out there for ingredients you can use in lieu of eggs that you may already have in your fridge or your pantry right now. Don't sleep on tofu quiche. The internet says so. So what's the bottom line here? Eggs are expensive and they're probably going to stay expensive for a while. And it's not just because of the bird flu or because chickens are lazy. The truth is there is a convergence happening of inflation, of supply chain issues, and overall demand for eggs. Reality is the price of eggs is really just a reflection of changes in the global economy. But I think we can weather this storm, and especially the people who can weather it the best can be savvy home cooks who are cost conscious when they're shopping and can consider ingredient alternatives to eggs. All right, foodies, that's all I got for you today. Do you guys notice eggs are expensive? Are you guys spending more at the grocery store? Do you notice it on your bill? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot more stuff coming your way. And just some parting words, my friends. You don't have to live in a castle to eat like a king. Play the game smart, stay hungry, and save a French fry for me.